It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we got another beer from Finland and the wonderful Mallassepa brewery, or Mallassepa Ull, as the Finnish would call it. It's a can of beer in a Red Bull style can, a 330 milliliter, and it's called Double or Nothing. It's a 7.5% ABV. What can we call it? A double, I suppose. We can a double dry hopped IPA with Sabro, Citra, and it's 50 IBUs. I still do like that wonderful can design where you've got it's almost like a Viking character with a big hammer smacking some malt. I like that. It's just a very kind of like strong macho. I like that strong macho kind of thing, especially with a 7.5% ABV beer. Right, let's get this beer out. Let's stop messing about now. We're talking about the macho-ness of this beer. Get it out into a glass and see what we get. Bit of a rigorous pour going on. Look at the way that head's developed in the beer. Look at that. Looks absolutely tremendous. We got a 3-finger creamy white head. Good levels of carbonation rolling up the glass. It's a beautiful, beautiful light amber coloured beer. Really, really good looking beer. Let's get the aroma then on the beer. Oh, wow. Wow. Now, I know I've reviewed this beer before. But in their older packaging, I know Mallassepa Brewery, they've gone over to these 330 milliliter cans, which I quite like actually. I quite like that tall, thin look. They're quite elegant to look at. They're very distinctive. There's not many breweries out there that have put their beers in 330 milliliter cans like this. So it looks very good. Let's get the aroma then on this hazy looking double IPA. Grapefruit, passion fruit, mango, orange peel, fleshy blood orange, spiciness, pepperiness, a touch of earthiness coming through at the same time, coconut from that Sabro hop. Absolutely lovely. Absolutely a lovely aroma to the beer. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Oh, wow. Stone the Crows. Stone the Crows, what a beer. Starts off a little bit sweet. A little bit of sweet malt coming through, sweetness coming through from the beer, but then it's all kind of like coconut from the Sabro, passion fruit, mango, grapefruit, orange peel, fleshy blood orange. Touch of lime, lemon. There's a little bit of body here. I mean, it's a 7.5% ABV beer. I'm not surprised whatsoever that there's a little bit of body in the beer. The more malt that you add when you're brewing the beer, the more you're creating sugar for the yeast to eat. And the more sugar there is for the yeast to eat, the higher the alcohol. Because alcohol is a byproduct of the sugars. But then if you think, it's a bit like having a pan on the stove. And you think, I want a little bit more, or I want a little bit more. So the more malt you add, or the more oats you add, let's say, the more of that kind of creaminess you get left in the bottom of the pan. The more of that kind of white residue you get from a pan when you make porridge oats. It's the same with the beer. The more malt you add, the higher the ABV, but you're also going to get that creamy, rich mouthfeel. And I really like that. Really, really like that in the beer. I want to talk about that 50 IBUs next. 50 IBUs in the beer. What does that mean? What is it? What am I tasting? So the beer starts off quite sweet. And then you get all of those fruit flavours in the middle from the hops. Not from fruit, from hops. But then it edges over to the back end where it's bitter. There's a lovely bitterness on the back end. It's peppery and spicy and just lovely. So it offers balance. It offers balance between the sweetness and the bitterness. And it's a bit like a hang glider or a tightrope walker walking along with balance, really. Walking along that rope or gliding a hang glider through the sky. But to gauge that bitterness is IBU. It's international bittering units. So what it is that you taste either 0 IBUs, international bitterness units, or 100 IBUs. 0 is obviously no bitterness at all. 100 is the most your palate can take. It's the most your body, your palate, the most your brain is able to assess the bitterness. Is the maximum is 100. So 50 IBUs is bang down the middle. So there's a nice amount of bitterness coming through. It's not massive because it's kind of been drowned out a bit by the hops in the middle, but it's definitely a lovely rounded bitterness on the back end to offset that. I think it was one of the first things I mentioned when I talked about the beer was the sweetness. There's a little bit of sweetness in that beer. I like Mallassepa's beers. I like Finnish craft beers in general. I'll tell you a little secret. I've been to Norway, Sweden, Denmark, but never Finland. Never been to Finland. So if you're watching from Finland, maybe put a few suggestions out of first of all, how to get there. I imagine it's flying to Amsterdam and then flying to Helsinki. That would probably be the first steps, wouldn't it? And then working out which breweries I can come and visit. I'd love to come and visit Mallassepa. That would be blooming fantastic, wouldn't it? That would be great. Because they produce some stonking beers, some really, really good, stonkingly good quality beers. I mean, look at it as I roll the beer around in the glass. That is just tremendous, tremendous stuff. Great head retention, great look to the beer, great body, great carbonation, little bit of haze, lovely aroma, fantastic taste. I like it. Double or nothing, double dry hopped IPA. Double dry hopped is where they add a lot of hops into the fermenter, just to let you guys know. And it creates more of a rounded, fruity flavour rather than putting the hops in the boiled kettle where you're just creating bitterness. I like it. I like it enough to give it a Stone the Crows 9 out of 10. It's a 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.